Welcome to the BBBOTS audience show. Now, before we start, one of our star guests had some technical issues getting into the room tonight, and despite Daniel Halawi's efforts, they just couldn't get in. So I'm not going to say who it is because we're going to try and get them back another night, but it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And we have got one of the biggest superstars of Big Brother with us tonight. We've got from BB7, and I promise I'm not going to mention eggs for now. It is the excellent Glyn Wise, everybody. Big hand for Glyn Wise.
It's so nice to see all of you. Some familiar faces. I've met a lot of you, actually, so it's really nice to see you all again. And it just shows that there's so much love and passion for the show, and hopefully it will come back on our screens. Yeah, you know what? Like, it's amazing to see all these hashtags, BBUK, you know, all the press, all the media's picked up on it. My Twitter ratings and Instagram ratings have shot up.
Wow.
So, I think this is such a promise. It's
looking promising. It is looking promising, Glyn.
There's another show on its way. Hopefully, anyway.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So, Glyn, I want to talk about your series a little bit later on. But, I mean, we've just seen on E4 one of the all-time classic series. It was fantastic. So many massive characters. I mean, am I right in thinking you would only have been about 14 when that was on?
Yeah, I would have been.
Were you watching it at 14?
I was 12. I just started secondary school when the first Big Brother was on. And
my gosh.
You know what, like watching Brian, watching Craig, and I was a massive Caroline O'Shea fan. Do you remember?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Like, she was the older woman there.
Yeah.
In Big Brother 1, and then obviously Big Brother 2. And shockingly, Big Brother 3 wasn't one of my favourites. Like, even though it seems to be everybody's. Like, to me, it was my favourites were always Big Brother 1, 2, 5, and 6. Like 3 and 4 kind of went up. And I said this in my audition, and I remember Phil Edgar Jones going, "What? You don't like Big Brother 3?" And I was like in his face, "What? What do you mean you don't like Big Brother 3?" And I remember, I think that's one of the reasons why I got in there, because I kind of said, like, I thought Big Brother 3 was crap. But watching it back now, it was a brilliant show, and I can see why. I would say this one had the most successful housemates coming out of it. Like, you had Alison, you had Kate, you had obviously Jade. You know, like, some of the boys did very well from it as well. Can I ask you, did Lee and Sophie get together and get a kid?
Yeah.
Did I just
How do we snog?
I mean, Glyn, Alison Hammond, who is an absolute star at the moment, she was only in there 15 days.
Yeah, I know.
And Adele Roberts is still a top DJ on Radio 1.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Epic personality. That's what the thing was. And, like, in those days, you could go on there and you were a celebrity. The moment you walked out the car, you know, like, agents would pick up on you, and it gave you such a massive platform. And I would say it carried on until Big Brother 7, and after Big Brother 8 started, it kind of it was more like
the deals dropped.
The deals dropped. It was a 5-minute fame, and it flashed down the pan, you know.
But the names we're talking about, Glyn, are still around 18 years later. I mean, you know, Kate Lawler, I believe she's a top radio DJ as well. I mean,
exactly.
It's you know, they really did well.
And something I've enjoyed as well is seeing what they look like now. You know, like you had Kristen come up, you had Kate come up. I was shocked to see Ashley and Nikki in mine as well. I was like, oh, is that what you look like now? You know. And sometimes I still think of them that they're still gonna have the same face as they did like 18 years ago. Not, they haven't grown up.
Alison hasn't aged a day.
No.
She looks good for now.
Unbelievable personality she is. She really is. So, guys, any questions for Glyn regarding?
Glyn, can I just ask you a question, please?
Yeah, no problem at all.
Right, Glyn, after you watching tonight's show and seeing Sandy walk, as a housemate, how do you feel about housemates that actually get up and left the house, especially with what you went through to get into the house? Because it's one of my pet peeves.
Oh no, I completely agree with you. I don't understand why you'd go through the trouble of writing a Bible of information about yourself in order to go in. And not only just that, we went through like 8 different rounds of Big Brother, okay, of auditions to get into the house. And to me, I lived in the back of beyond in Wales. I had to go all the way to London, got lost so many times to get there. And, you know, like, I wouldn't have gone through that if I wasn't going to do the whole hog. Like, I remember the first week when I was there was too many personalities. I had like Shabazz, Nikki, all of them. And like, and to be honest with you, there was like I know I'm going back to my series now, but there was like there was the in crowd and the freaks, basically.
Yeah.
And, like,
That's
the
true.
in crowd kind of came from a very a richer like more well-to-do, like middle class, I would say, whereas I was just poor, you know. And then I sat there not knowing what to talk about. They were slightly older, but then I usually think that people that walk don't deserve the time, you know, like they've taken away something magical.
None of us like walkers. None of us like walkers.
None of us like it.
In actual fact, Sandy wasn't a walker. He actually climbed over the wall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he jumped. He wasn't a walker.
And I thought I remembered him peeing in the bin before going.
He did. Catching Ben. Vile man.
Disgusting.
Oh, yeah, misogynistic, I would say.
Yeah, and do you remember there was another walker before it? There was a girl called was it Sunita? No.
She was the first one,
yeah.
Yeah.
Sunita Sharma, she was the first one out.
Yeah, she walked in and she walked out. And I was like, what's the point? But I remember in my auditions, they used her as a reference. They said, please don't come to all these auditions and do what Sunita did. Walk in there for like 3 hours.
Even in one of the celebrity ones, where the comedian Jack D, he got out, but he came back in again.
That was the first charity one, wasn't it? That was
yes, that's right.
They want people to say, "Oh, please don't go. We don't want you to go." Oh no, bye, Sandy.
What they should do is when they go in the diary room and start talking about wanting to go. Do you know that suggestion? Maybe I'm thinking about it. Wouldn't it be wonderful if they just clicked the door and said, "Okay, next one in."
Off you go. Bye bye.
Glyn,
he was talking about it.
Marlon, question from Marlon.
Yeah. I think it's incredible that you were watching Big Brother when you were 12 years old, and little did you know, history's lined up. You're going to be in there later on in your life. At what point did you think to yourself, hang on, I want to go in there? And did you audition the first year you thought about it, or did you audition a few years and never get in? How did it come about from 12 years old to then, thinking I want to be in there?
No, okay. I bought every book to do with Big Brother. I got the little fan book, Big Brother 1, Big Brother 2, Big Brother 3. And then I looked at all their auditions. So I remember Anthony Hudson had won before me.
Yeah.
And I looked at all their auditions, and there was 2 types of people that would get into Big Brother. They're very handsome or they're very beautiful, okay? Or they think they're handsome and beautiful when they're not.
Middle finger.
I knew I'd fill it, I'd go into the second category, you know? So I kind of knew what to do, so I'd read up on everything. But I used to pray every night to God just to say, please let me in.
Well, you've grew into yourself.
The prayers were answered.
Like,
I mean, Glyn, your face was a picture when Ashley entered the house.
I know, because I found Aisling to be similar to myself. What I liked was the fact that she wasn't in the in crowd. She was disliked as well.
Really?
And she wasn't in the beauty, you know, middle class group. And then I didn't really have any friends in the beginning, so it's kind of nice just to have one. Like, I'm not trying to get the violins out and feel sorry for me. But then, like, this is what I don't like about the walkers. I knew, like, in the first week, I was up for eviction, I didn't have any friends, but I kind of like, you need that something inside you, a strong personality, just to say, okay, this is going to get better. The problem with people like Sandy, even I'm good friends with her, but I was watching Jodie Marsh the other night. What I find with some people, if they're not center of attention, if they're not used to something, They quit and they walk.
Yeah.
To me, that's what Big Brother's about. Big Brother's about a melting pot of society, and you just need to try and make your way through, regardless of the fact that they don't like you or something. Because, you know, one week you're down, the next week you're up. You just don't know how things work.
Yeah, so Glyn, what did you make of last week's episode, the Nikki Graham episode that you, of course, were in? Probably the most iconic diary room rant of 20 years of Big Brother. The Who Is She? What did you make of that?
What? It's been 14 years for me, and even I'm not Nikki Graham, and people still say, "Who is she?" to me, and I'm like, mate. Watching it back though, I love Nikki Graham, but I don't think she came over very well from the show, and it made her look like a spoilt.
Yeah, it did.
She was.
I'm not going to say the word.
I think she was to a certain degree.
Yeah,
I mean, you were trying to be the peacemaker, Glyn, with Grace and Nikki and Susie Verico, weren't you?
What peacemaker? I was like, I'm going to tell them, and then I look at them angrily. But you know what? I didn't have the confidence. I don't think I had the intelligence to tell them or to communicate what I was trying to say. Yeah. I would say, I'm going to sleep. I can't be bothered. I wasn't even tired. The fact that I was saying that just because I wanted to get out the situation.
Yeah.
The problem was, you could tell Nikki stuff. Okay, and she would listen to you because even though I was 18, she was 6 years older. I still felt like she was younger.
Yeah.
But Grace, like in the house, I got on really well with Grace, and she was a force, you know.
Yeah.
And if you went against Grace, you had Mikey on top of you. Then you had Imogen next to them. Then you'd have Caesar when he was there, and it was kind of like if you go against one, you have to go against all of them.
Yeah.
And then I had someone, and who was by me? Pete. You know, like Pete is a lovely boy, but Pete has the same personality as me.
Yeah, Glyn, we were speaking to Pete the other night there, and I asked him who did he actually didn't like in the house, in that particular house you went. Who did you really not like?
Myself.
Yourself?
Oh, no, who I didn't like?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Who didn't like?
Oh my God!
Sorry.
Deep translation. That was a bit of confusion there.
Deep.
Yeah, it was deep. No, I love everyone. That's my personality. Okay, and if I don't like you, I would just ignore you. I don't argue with you. You know, you would just get the silent treatment. And I think that's much nicer than being nasty. Are
you still friends with Pete Bennett, Glyn? Are you still friends with Pete?
Yeah, like I've been, what do you call it? I feel like I've been his dad recently because
he was in with us last week and he was absolutely brilliant. It was arguably our best show of the whole 7 shows we've done so far.
Love to get you
was
both
amazing.
Together.
He's had an up and down week, so I've kind of been like looking after him.
Yeah.
But if I would tell you honestly, in the auditions, I went head to head with George. He was friends with Prince William and Prince Philip and all of that. And the only celebrity I'd ever met was Tim Henman. Well, the back of Tim Henman at Wimbledon, you know?
He's probably better than the front of Tim Henman.
but then George just kind of looked down at me and just didn't bother with me or anything. So I would say I didn't let him. We never spoke while I was in the house. To think that house is tiny, you do manage to ignore some people to have around, you know?
So Glyn, before you go in, how stringent are the psychological tests before you go in?
Mine was crap because he'd come up to me and just say, "You're the last person we need to see." So then I was just thinking, everybody else must be mad then.
Well, they say we need an 18-year-old. In you go, Glyn.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think I was sane. I came from a very nice background, you know, like I was very innocent and naive. But like the psychiatry round, so it was just, I didn't understand what it was, just me sitting with a bloke having a chat about my life. But like,
and what about when you come out the house? How is the aftercare when you come out the house?
Good question.
You know what, if I'm completely honest with you, I didn't need it until a year after.
Sure.
Because after you come out the house, it's like a whirlwind. You get an agent, you go, you do, well, this is back on Channel 4. I did PAs, I was on every show going. And then a year after, you know when Brian Bello and everybody went in for Big Brother 8? And that's when my work started stopping. That's when I needed help, because to be honest with you, it was like being in a tornado, a twister.
So you get about a year of being in the limelight and everyone wanting you for clubs, appearances, whatever. Is that about right? And then it starts drying up when the next series starts.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
When the next series starts, I was still working, so I had to talk about that. But then after that had finished, it was kind of gone then. But it's weird. It's kind of like the Hunger Games. I feel like a survivor.
Oh.
Every year they bring you back to talk about your Hunger Games, you know?
Yeah.
And it was all right. But that's when I would say I needed help.
Yeah.
But,
and were they there for you? Were they there?
Yeah, I got to meet him once, but he just said to me, like, do what you wanted to always do. And that's why I went to university, even though, like, it was strange. I'd gone from being friends with Alex Jones, who does the BBC One show, like Jodie Marsh and everybody, to try and then think, who are these people? Why am I friends with them? Like, and I was from the back of beyond, you know, like, so it was nice just to go back to university, just to get my brain back. I didn't go to uni to get a degree. I went to there to just get my sanity, really.
Yeah.
Very good.
Any questions for Ben?
What
Anyone?
course did you do at university?
I studied Welsh and Spanish. All right. And then I did 3 years. Then I did a year of teaching. And then now I went off to travel abroad. And I got a job in a prestigious school in Shanghai, in China.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Cool.
So yeah. No, it is amazing.
I think Rob's got a question for you, Glyn.
Yeah, sorry.
Glyn, if you could go back into the house, if
Yeah.
it was to return, over the last 20 years, which 3 or 4 previous housemates would you take in with you and why?
It increases every night, Rob, that question. It started with 1, then 2, now 3 or 4.
You know what? I'd go back in there like a flash, all right? Because I loved every minute of it. But I'm thinking now, friends-wise, but then entertainment-wise would be completely different. Like for entertainment, you'd take in Charlie Uchia, wouldn't you? Do you remember her?
Yeah, I really like Charlie.
Yeah, she was a great one.
Her.
You know, Billy Batty, if you want somebody horrible.
Yeah, I met him once.
Yeah.
He was only in there 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. But then if you need nastiness. But if I put them in with myself, I'd win. You know? If I got to choose properly, I'd choose Kinga, because I know I'd have a right laugh for the whole time I'd be in there.
No bottles.
I'm
knew someone was going to say
bigger things now.
And Kinga was the first person to call me, actually, when all of this was kicking off. She was like, Glyn, have you heard anything? And I was like, yeah, our shows are going on. And she was like, right, because she's got a really good job now. And imagine every time you walk into your job interview and people go, what's your name? Kinga. You know? So it's not as if you're going to get, it's the same as Monica Lewinsky, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, and you'd be known for that.
I think Corinne's got a question. Corinne?
I sort of did a bit of research today and I was watching YouTube. And Glyn, I saw you with Nikki in the diary room. And I don't know what happened before. All I could hear was Welsh. And you were talking and you were actually translating what they were saying. But do you remember what was going on? Because they didn't actually say what was happening. It was just you both rushed in there. Then they said, oh, you can leave now in Welsh. And you had to explain that.
Yeah, so Big Brother had changed to being Welsh. Okay, I think because our series was 93 days, the 13th week, they run out of ideas, I think. So they kept hearing me speaking Welsh. So they turned Big Brother into Welsh, okay? And then Nikki that day was doing my head in, okay? I love Nikki.
On that day.
She's a great housemate because do you know why? She keeps you entertained the whole day. You don't know what you're going to get with Nikki. You can have a good chat with her. She could be crying because she's calling you the B word for no reason, okay? And then, so I just thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to get you back and I'm going to say, hello, my name's Nikki and my hair stinks and everything. But she had to speak in Welsh, you know?
Did she not your nerves, Glyn, Nikki? With all the screaming and performing?
It was weird. The first night, I was looking at her. She was crying. I thought, oh, come here. But like, if somebody cries every day,
Just crying every night.
it's just entertainment, then, isn't it? It like, but then I did think there was a slight spoiled bratness about her.
Yeah, it came over like that.
But then that was her likability too. Like, I always got along with her, but I did think there was that bit as well. And I was thinking, I would never behave like this. And it's not normal. You know?
Were you surprised her and Pete got together?
No, because when you're in there, you kind of just fall in love, or like, to be honest with you, I forgot there was an outside world. I just thought that was my life while I was in there, and those were the only people left in there for you to get with or to argue with. Like, I'd moved my life into there, so it was strange.
I think Karen Cummings has got a question for you, Glyn. Karen?
Yes, Glyn. Hi, Glyn. Just a quick one. You know, like they say, never meet your idols because you're going to be disappointed. So was there anybody, as you became more well-known up and down the country, was there any like celebrity or well-known person that you met that you thought, well, I wish I didn't meet you?
Good question.
Quite a few, actually. Never talk badly about the dead, but Pete Burns. Like, I watched him last night.
I loved him.
Thinking, I thought he was going to be amazing, and I wanted to sing with him. Like, me being a twit, I was like, "You spin me," and he just looked at me and called me every word under the sun, and then just called me a pathetic wannabe. And I was like,
Wow.
Fiona Simmons, I think Fiona's got a question for you, Glyn.
Actually, it's me. I'm allowed to talk.
Oh, sorry, Neil.
Glyn, going back to what you said right at the beginning, where the housemates, like, you know, your favourite series was 1, 2, and you know, you didn't like 3 so much. But for me, like your series as well, it was people there that went in, had very, very different personalities. They were different people from different backgrounds. And what you see these days, or the last few series, has been people that are very, very similar.
Yeah.
No, don't you find that that's the major difference between like Big Brother now and your era?
But I think that's why it's unsuccessful. Like, Big Brother should always be on the TV, but Big Brother was a melting pot of different people. What you're seeing now, and this is where I do think they've gone wrong, is I think they just come from agencies. You know, they've got all these good-looking girls and boys, really, from between the ages of 18 to 30.
They're all media savvy.
Yeah, and it's as though they don't represent anybody anymore, apart from people that should be on Love Island.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and
it's more like money took over, isn't it? Money took over, and like, so they want people that are gonna sell. I don't know. I just got that vibe that the whole social media money thing took over.
Yeah, I think you're right, Marlon.
Yeah, the social media has done it. Before there was social media, people used to watch a TV show, and people going on Big Brother didn't care about coming out and having a following. But now, most people go on reality TV purely to get Instagram likes. That's
It's the likes.
But the thing is, if Big Brother would actually think who watches this show, it is majority of the people are over the age of 25. Because if you look at the people that are under 25, they don't watch TV. They watch Netflix or they look at TikTok, you know?
Yeah.
And TikTok is literally for 15 seconds. Whereas we're on the telly for a whole day. Younger generation now, they did like a psychology test on it. They can't watch things like Big Brother because they don't have the intellect. They do have the intellect, but they don't have the attention span.
It's the thought process.
Teresa Brazil's got a question for you, Glyn.
Yeah.
Teresa?
Hello, Glyn. If you could choose what series you would be in or would like to go in, which one would it be?
Oh, I would have chosen the year before mine, but I was too young for that one because I actually thought I could have won that one against Anthony Hutton. The problem is, it's true though, because I'm one of the most competitive people I'd ever find, because I used to be an athlete growing up, and to me winning is everything. So even though I lost to Pete, the problem I found with going into Big Brother 7 was, you can ask this to all the housemates, we all knew that Pete was going to win from the moment we got in. And that was the problem on the outside as well, because even if you look at Paddy Power betting odds, Pete was the winner from day one.
I think we all knew that.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to beat Pete. I wouldn't be able to beat Nadia, because Nadia had that, you know,
Yeah, she was amazing.
She had a backstory. But I do think I would have been able, like, this is me being cocky, but you can't really say. I think I could have won a lot of the other series.
And you may have ended up in the swimming pool with Makosi as well.
No, you know? I wouldn't have gone that far. But however, I spoke to Anthony because we have the same agent, and that never happened. It was only
what they made it to be.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if you looked at my face now, but Daniel knew what I was saying. Sorry?
We've seen that.
One at a time, please. Go on. Someone.
Oh, no. I was just saying that never happened. The whole pregnancy test, like, it was Makosi trying to make up a story. Like, Makosi was great TV. Like, she was an excellent housemate. A bit like Helen, that won the Channel 5 one. Yeah. I'm glad that they get to the final, okay? But they don't deserve to win because they're not nice people inside.
Well, Helen had a free pass to the final after a couple of days.
Yeah, but Helen was a great housemate.
Yeah.
You need housemates like that.
Yeah, you need like Grace. You need like B. Do you remember?
Otherwise, it would be boring if you didn't have the Helen Woods and the Graces in there.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Nikki's still famous now, and you know the way that she came over at the beginning. But now, I mean, look at and Jade. I mean, you know, Jade, amazing woman. You know.
But if you'd asked me who the most successful housemates are, I had a lot of people on Twitter telling me I was wrong, but I would always put Jade as number 1. Number 2 is Alison, and I'd still say number 3 is Brian Dowling, and then underneath them you've got Kate Lawler and Craig Phillips. So when I think of success is longevity. Okay, but then success is also measured in the fact that they're not doing the who is she still, you know?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Like,
There's something more.
Yeah.
There's more substance to someone. So I do believe that, God bless her soul, Jade would have, and she did achieve such great things at such a young age. She went in there so young, but she had her head screwed on. She knew so much about life. She was grounded. She was ditchy, don't get me wrong, but we can all have that balance.
Exactly. Nah, and Jade was just a lovely woman. I remember when I got evicted and we had to do Big Brother's Big Mouth straight away with Russell Brand.
Yeah, I was on that a few times, as was Karen Cummings. Remember Karen?
and it was Jade Goody.
Hello, Paul.
Sorry, Marlon as well. We've got 3 veterans here. 3 veterans from the Big Mouth days.
It was a great show, and I met Jade there, and she had the Glyn to Win T-shirt on, and I was like, oh, thank you, Jade. You know. It was her and the man that coughed on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He's actually a top bloke.
Any other questions for Glyn, anyone?
Glyn, see if there was another house to come, would you like to see a wide range of housemates, like older housemates as well as younger ones? Because it seems to be capped at younger ones.
Such as yourself, John.
What's that?
John
Yes,
Cross.
exactly.
They gotta put him in.
Am I getting it now, John?
Like what I'd like to see, if I was a producer myself, I'd go back to basics, but you have to get someone like Anne Widdecombe, okay? Who massive Tory. You need like a different politics view. You need like UKIP in there. You need the Green Party in there. You need a different
Labour Party in there.
Take all the names away.
Yeah.
But that's what I say. You just need different people. What I don't want to see is people that they're YouTube bloggers or something like that. I don't want to see any of that.
That's unique.
Yeah, like nothing.
Saying that, they kept saying they were going to put people in, go back to basics every year.
And they didn't.
Do that every year. They kept saying it, and then we saw the people come in, and we thought, "But we know them. They've been on other programs."
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They know each other.
And the tasks. They need more tasks. The tasks were in. Which was your favourite task, Glyn?
Well, my favourite task, I'd have to say the Majorettes one, where we all came together. Or when I went into the prison, or when I learned to cook the egg for the very first time. To be honest with you, all of it was fun, but I do completely agree with you. I like the fact that Big Brother, when we were in there, the only person I saw from the outside world was a doctor, okay, who checked me out in a diary room. Other than that, we had no information coming from the outside world. Whereas I used to watch it on Channel 5 and they'd got an Oompa band coming in.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, well, this is not Big Brother anymore. And it was weird. I was listening to Ashleen talking and she was saying when she was in Channel 4, it was all special and it was all unique. When she did the Channel 5 one, she could hear just people talking in the camera runs. It felt like it was a show and it was all, it just wasn't the same, she said. And I do think maybe the production team had just had enough of it.
Give up.
Like, we are all diehard fans. Like, I was a massive diehard fan before going in there. But I do think it was just kind of like just something that they couldn't care less about. You know, like it was,
you're right.
Going through the motions. And I didn't even enjoy watching the normal housemates. I just watched the celebrity version towards the end.
Yeah.
So you didn't. So Glyn, you didn't watch the last series, the
I haven't
civilian
seen
series.
The last two.
Oh right.
Normal, and that this is coming from the fan.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I watched every celebrity version. But I went. I've been traveling for the last 2 years as well, so I wouldn't been able to watch it. But I remember the days. All right, I'm talking like an old man. I remember the days where 9 o'clock, I'd run home from the youth club to watch the eviction. That's how much of an addict I was. Okay, and I'd never watch it live. I wouldn't want to watch people sleeping, but I was like every night I'd be hooked.
I did.
And I was gutted when it's finished because when it's finished, it was like I'd lost my leg or something, you know? Like it was something I used to do, 9 o'clock, watch Big Brother, then watch Big Brother's Big Mouth. You know, it was something that I just did religiously in a way.
And I'm sure you watched Big Brother's Little Brother with Dermot as well.
Oh, yeah, loved all of that. You know, like, and that's what I liked. You had Big Brother, Little Brother in the morning. You had Big Brother's Big. You also had Big Brother's Big Brain.
So much to learn from the show. So much to learn from it.
Yeah. And then you'd have people like Graham Norton's show talking about it on their show. You know?
Oh, yeah.
He campaigned for Jade.
Yeah, bless. And does anybody still remember him taking the mick out of Alex?
Yes.
When Sandy was going up the roof, he was going.
Oh. Are we frozen?
Oh, where's Glyn gone?
Frozen.
Lost him. Has anyone seen Glyn?
He's frozen like that.
I've got a blank screen of Glyn. There he is.
He's back.
He's back. Again.
He's lost in the valleys.
Yes.
See me?
Yeah.
We lost you.
You know what? The only people I've got on my screen is Daniel, Sarah, and Corin. And at one point, they were all like this.
You'll have to watch this back tomorrow.
Yeah. So I was thinking, is this story that intriguing?
You've been brilliant. You've been absolutely brilliant. Any questions before we start wrapping up?
I just want to know, because to us, you grew up on the series. So you went in as a little boy and you came out a man. What was the biggest thing that you learned? What was the biggest thing that you felt that you got out of being in there?
What I learned was to just stick up for myself a lot more. Even though you didn't see it in that show, but as it progressed, I kind of felt like I was growing into myself because I never left home before. I was still living in my parents' house and I hadn't been to university, you know, I hadn't been away from home for that long. So it was just nice to go in there and then to communicate in English and everything. But then my world got turned upside down in a good way afterwards. Like, it was mad. It was crazy. It was everything that I ever wanted and more, you know?
Yeah. And Sheila, I think Sheila's got a question for you, Glyn.
Yeah, just a quick one, Glyn. I'm right in saying that you were quite close to Imogen in the house. I wondered if you had maintained your relationship, stayed in touch.
We're Facebook friends, you know?
Oh, that's it.
Is that as far as it goes, Glyn?
Happy Christmas.
Some people got 5,000 Facebook friends.
Yeah, true. Now, the ones that I talk to properly, it's weird. I didn't used to speak to anyone for a long time. And then this came back, and I got back in contact with everyone. Like, I hadn't seen Leah for over 14 years, you know?
Wow.
So it was great to talk to her and have just we were on the phone for 2 hours. Richard is another one that messages me all the time. But if I'm completely honest with you, the one that I always liked, and we were always good friends afterwards, but weren't in the show, was Bonnie. Do you remember Bonnie?
Bonnie!
Yeah,
long, wasn't she?
Blast from the past.
Oh, yes.
The reason me and Bonnie are good friends, because we were both up for eviction in the first week. We were both just pushed to one side. Nobody spoke to us properly. And then I always feel like that could have been me. You know, I could have been the first out and, you know, reunited with my suitcase, like she said. Okay? So I've always got a part of me that, even when Bonnie used to come to all the parties afterwards, I used to kind of stay with her because she had no friends, you know? And she was just a really nice person. And I do think if I would have gone and she would have stayed, she would have had a journey as well, you know?
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Glyn, one question.
Go ahead, Rob.
How comfortable are your new pumps?
How comfortable are my new pumps? They're amazing, just so you know. I got them through the post, some nice Louis Vuitton pumps, and it was all based on being on this Big Brothers thing. So, you know, you do get some new admirers. It is great, you know. We'll leave it on there. I don't want to read it.
Any more questions before we start wrapping?
Yeah, Glyn, you said you were very, it's a very quick one. You said you're very competitive because you was an athlete. What discipline did you do out of interest? Because maybe the others know, but I don't know.
I used to do the 100-meter hurdles, and I used to do the 400. And it was all about, you know, just getting to the finishing line. And that's how I used to see Big Brother. When I was in the final and I saw myself, there were 6 of us, and I saw the podium, and I thought you have to get on the top 3. So it was me, Pete, and Ashley. And obviously then Ashley went out, and I was like, in my head then, I was thinking, oh, this is like Wimbledon. When I get the plate, you know, the runner-up plate, the runner-up trophy. Yeah. And even if you watch it back, I say that to Pete. I was like, I hope they give me a play. And Pete just ignores me because he doesn't even know what I'm on about. That was the athletics and tennis going up in my brain, you know?
Awesome.
So anyway, let me tell you guys before we go, tomorrow night, technical hitches permitting, we've already had 3 civilian winners with us. Tomorrow night, and I've really got my fingers crossed for this, we're going to have our first celebrity Big Brother winner with us. Who it is? Fingers crossed for tomorrow night. Now, Glyn, before we go, you probably don't want this, but I can't leave without asking you to give us a couple of rounds of I'm cooking an egg for the very first time, because we've all got our eggs ready.
Yeah.
Once you kick us off, we'll join in. So you give us 2 choruses and we'll join you.
Okay.
Here's my egg.
Together, 3, 2, 1. I'm cooking an egg for the very first time.
I'm cooking an egg for the very first time.
I'm cooking an egg for the very first time.
I'm cooking an egg for the very first time. Come on, Glyn, one more time, Glyn.
I'm cooking an egg for the very first time now.
Thank you so much for joining us. You've been absolutely amazing.
Thank you very much.
We didn't need any other guests. You were amazing.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you, Glenn.